Hello and welcome to the Mad About You YouTube channel. My name is Madeline and it is Friday the 19th of February 2021. Thank you very much for tuning in for a little bit of time with me today. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back, and if you are a new viewer, welcome to my channel. I talk a little bit about knitting, crochet and living my craftiest life possible. I'm coming to you today from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia, where I now live with my family and the family cat Harley, who I don't know if you can see, but I think maybe you can see his head. It'll probably be a quick little episode today. I don't have a whole lot of stuff to share, but I would like to get this in now while the house is quiet, so everybody else is at work, which is nice, and I've just logged off for the day as well. We'll talk about today a few things, my works in progress, no FOs this week. I have had some stash enhancement. We'll talk a little bit about what I'm reading, watching, listening to, and then we'll pop into Blather, and there's not a whole lot to update you on. But yeah, that's what we're going to cover today. Is that right, Harley? Yes. All right, so let's go on to work in progress. I have two works in progress. I showed this yarn last time. It's by Kate Celine and the colorway is Blackjack, which I don't think I shared last time. I've had this yarn for a couple of years. I bought it off a D-stash, and I decided to cast on a sock. Now I probably should have brought the pattern with me, but I might insert a picture when I'm editing. It's the shorty sock pattern by Summer, I want to say Summer Lee, but I'll pop her details below. And she has a couple of different sock patterns, and I decided that I wanted to knit a sock with this yarn. I was inspired by my Instagram friend Mama Lise, and she was knitting her very first sock on DPNs as well. Now I'd never knit a sock on DPN, so I gave myself a bit of a challenge, and I have finished one sock, and I did sock B, I think. So it was just a it's a shorty sock, like I said. I did a heel flap and gusset, which I have not done in a number of years. And then part of the pattern was this arch support. So I don't know if you can see, but it's a slip stitch kind of pattern. And then because I wanted to probably make myself a full size pair of socks with this, I know to make myself a full pair of socks, it usually takes about 65 to 70 grams. And I think this used 10. Before the toe, and I did the toe in a 3 Mums yarn little mini that I had. So I've just kitchen-knit the toe this morning. It fits okay. I did knit this on DPNs, which I quite enjoyed actually, but I think if I'm going to knit more socks, I like the efficiency that 2 at a time on Magic Loop brings me. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the year, but I really enjoyed knitting this particular sock. There were a few mishaps. I realized I had made an error when I was decreasing. I had done this little arch support bit wrong, and I think it's in the wrong spot. It probably should have started maybe like 2 or 3 rounds earlier. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a very big issue. But I really did enjoy that pattern, and I thoroughly recommend it for anybody. Very clear instructions, which was really good. And then the only other problem is I cast on too many stitches. It's very roomy on my foot, so I'm hoping if I give it a warm wash, it might shrink a little bit, just with that nylon in there. But other than that, it was a fun make, and I will cast on the second stock at some point very soon, so I can have a fully finished object. So this is a hoe, I guess, a half object. But yeah, quite fun to knit, and I really like the contrast of the blue toe. And DPNs. So I knit it on a 2.25mm needle, which I've never done before, and I probably should have made the middle size. So I think it's like kids, yeah, it's like small, medium, large, extra large. Maybe there's 4 sizes, and I knit the 3rd size. I probably should have knit the medium one because I have a pretty average size foot, but I I did measure and it was kind of in between the smaller and the medium, so I went with a lot, like the small one. It was in between 2 sizes and I went for the larger. I probably should have gone for the smaller, but what can you do? I realised probably halfway through and I just didn't have it in me to pull it out, so it'll probably just be an around the house sock, and it's okay that it's a bit loose. My other work in progress is actually a swatch. So I have, I said in my goals for 2021 I wanted to do a couple of test knits, so I registered for a test knit and I got accepted, and this is my second swatch. I didn't get gauged the first time, and the yarn is Milpost Merino, and I think it's called Seaglass or Seagrass is the colourway. And so the pattern details, it's not on Ravelry yet obviously because in testing, but it's by Snickerdoodle Knits, and then I have a kind of a brief colour that I can pattern, sorry. So it's a simple colour work beanie. I chose the charted direction, so that's what I'll be testing, and it's due next week. I've been a bit preoccupied with work, and it was my birthday yesterday, so I didn't do a whole lot of knitting, and I did finish the socks. So I'll probably do another, this is probably 2 inches. I'll probably do the other 2, wash and block, and then if I don't get gauge I'll just adjust my needles. But I'm knitting on my Knitter's Pride Platina needles. It's a hat set, like a 16-inch circular set, and these are a 4.5. The thing I don't like about these needles is this particular one. I don't know if you can, there we go. So from repetitive use it has come off, so at some point I probably will replace this needle set, but for the time being it's not super annoying. It's just a little bit, it's not annoying enough for me to spend more money to buy a new one. So that's it for my knitting content. I have not done any crochet on my blanket, and to be honest I forgot to pull it out, so I haven't got that to show you. So what I might bring, we might go into stash enhancement. So I, being a DPN knitter now, I treated myself to a DPN cozy. I love this fabric. It's like a, I don't know what this flower is. I think it's a wattle, and it's one of my favourite Australian flowers in real life. So I couldn't resist this. I don't remember the shop, but I bought it off Etsy. And I think it was about $10 maybe. I had thought about making some myself before I moved, and I didn't get around to it because I didn't get around to a lot of things before I moved. So yeah, and I probably could have asked Mum to do it, but I just thought I'll support local, so I bought that off Etsy. I also bought this bag by Bonnie Madbell Makes. And I bought this when I was knitting a sock because I was like, I only have the Christmas sock sack. It's a little bit bigger than I thought it would be, but that's okay. It's got this sturdy handle which matches this fabric here. It's got some llamas or alpacas on there, and then it's got a really nice contrasting fabric. So at the moment this actually has this sock, well it did have this yarn, the needles for the DPN cozy, my notions pouch, plus the Milpost Merino for the colourwork hat. So it actually does fit quite a bit in there. So I think it'll be like my take whatever I'm knitting to uni little project bag, if it will fit in my bag and I find myself with enough time to do that. So that's my crafty stash enhancement. I did end up buying the yarn that I said I was going to for the Rift tee at the end of the last episode, and that has arrived, and I bought that from Skein Sisters, which used to be my local yarn shop when I lived in Sydney, and they're in Dulwich Hill. So I bought a yarn called BC Garn Lino in the silver colourway. It's a cotton, so it's 50% linen, 50% cotton. They're a Danish company, which I think I mentioned last time. This is their tag here. And I think this is a DK weight. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I ended up buying 6 skeins. So I did the maths, I did my measurements, worked out what size I needed to make, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've got that written down. And so I think I really needed like just over 5 skeins, so I bought 6 just to be sure. Maybe I needed 5 and I bought a 6th, I can't remember. So anyway, this is, if I can get that last one in. So this is them here. I've never knit with linen before. I have crocheted with cotton, and no, I've never knit with cotton either. But it's really nice, and this is a rusticy sort of texture, but I think it will be really nice with that linen, and it will have a nice drape. So at some point I will, well, to be honest, I was going to cast that on or swatch for it and cast it on this week, but I signed up for that test knit and I have an obligation to that knitter, so I have to get that done. Now that's all I have for stash enhancement for things that came in. I still haven't bought any yarn other than that which I did buy with a gift voucher. It's not a hard and fast no yarn buying kind of rule, but I just think I'm about to lose my full-time income. So my Yarny stash fund is quite good, and I'm going to save it for Bendigo Sheep and Wool Festival if that happens, or even if there's the virtual one, I'll probably spend some money again. And I have such a beautiful stash, I think it's a waste for me not to use it, so I will kind of get on board doing that. Might move on to Blather overall. So we will crack on with reading, watching, listening, which is the part of the show where I tell you what I've been reading, watching, listening. I have forgotten the book, it's on my bedside table, but it's called, I think it's called Think Like a Monk. It's by Jay Shetty, and I've listened to quite a few podcasts with him and I found him really interesting, and then I saw his book in a shop sometime last year, so I bought that. I'm only a couple of chapters in, and I started it during my blood donation last weekend, so I think it'll definitely be my donor book, and then I am trying to read a little bit more, but I've been down the fan fiction rabbit hole again, so you know, real books take time. But essentially from what I've read so far, it's a really interesting story about how he basically was at university, decided his background's Indian, his family's Indian, and while he was there he heard a monk talk, he was really inspired by that, and he ended up becoming a monk for several years, and then was told by someone in the monastic order, we actually think you would have more impact about our way of life and what we do outside. So he left, and he's an author, like a motivational speaker and whatnot. So I'm not very far into the book, but that's what I've been reading and it's quite good. I've watched the first episode of It's a Sin on Stan, which was really interesting and I quite liked it, so I'll need to finish the rest of that. But if you're in Australia, that one's on Stan. I think it's 5 episodes maybe, but yeah, really interesting. It's set in the 1980s and it's covered, like, it follows a group of 5 friends who are gay men and a woman, and their journey, or not journey, like their life when the AIDS epidemic starts to happen and people are dying of the mystery illness. So it starts in 1981, I think. So that's been really all the feels, but the chemistry of the characters is just really excellent, and quite enjoyed the first episode. So I'll report back how that goes with the rest of it when I get around to watching. And listening, as always, too many podcasts. I'm gonna cancel my Audible subscription, so I've just bought 4 audiobook books and I've got 1 more credit left. So I like history, biographies, feminist literature. So if you've got any recommendations of what I might be able to get with my last credit before I cancel my membership for a bit, make sure you leave me a comment down below and I'll be sure to check it out. But anyway, what I've been listening to is I Weigh by Jamila Jamil. She is an activist, actress, all-around badass, I think, and she has this podcast called I Weigh, and the premise is she interviews really influential people or just really cool, knowledgeable people in general, and they talk about whatever that person's kind of life's work is or whatnot, and then at the end they talk about what they weigh, and it's not about what they weigh in terms of scale weight, it's what they weigh as personality. So I would say I'm Madeline and I weigh my career, my friendships, I'm way that I'm a daughter and a sister. I'm a knitter, all of those kind of things. So that's really interesting, and I quite enjoy the various different guests that she's had. So that's those three. I guess into Blather proper. I don't really have anything to tell you about. It was my birthday yesterday, and I had a really lovely day. I took the day off work. My mum was not didn't have to work either, so we spent the day together, which was nice. I got up, went to the gym, sat around, knitted for a little bit, and then we went out for lunch with a friend of my mum's who I've known forever, which was really lovely. And then just went for a walk in the afternoon. My mum baked me a birthday cake, and my parents sang happy birthday to me last night, which is really sweet. And we're gonna have a family lunch tomorrow down the coast at a Greek restaurant, which will be really lovely. My sister's been a couple of times and says it's excellent, so I'm really looking forward to catching up with my cousin, seeing my grandma, and just the rest of my family for my birthday, so it'd be great. What else is happening? Well, today I've set my out of office. It was my last kind of full-time day working for my current job. University O week starts next week. As a postgrad student, O week's not the same as normal orientation week. I had a friend ask me, so you're going to a toga party? I'm like, I'm 29, I'm too old for toga parties. But yeah, I'm really excited. I have got all my course material, like that's been made available, has come about. I've got my uni schedule worked out, which is wicked. Daunting about studying again, but I'm getting really excited for it. I thought, oh, it's just it's just teaching, but like it's not medicine. I'll have lots of time to craft. I don't think that's going to be the case, so we'll just see. Like, I mean, you've gone for those of you who've been around for a long time, you've gone for periods of time when I haven't updated for 6 months, and it's not going to be that infrequent. Might just be more regular, shorter episodes when I don't have a whole lot of knitting or crocheting that I've done. But I'm really, really excited for that to start and to kind of jump into the next step of my career and my life. I just had a thought pop into my head, and something I wanted to talk about, but it's gone, so that's kind of annoying actually. Yeah, I guess like I've had a few new followers recently, so thank you very much for deciding you want to subscribe and get notified when I send an update out. I've been doing the February challenge, which is a lot of fun. I've missed the last couple of days because I didn't really have anything for the prompts, and I've been busy with work and my birthday yesterday and just hanging out with family and reading, so I'm a bit behind, but I think I have a photo for a prompt for today, which is good. So that one it's called the February challenge on Instagram. If you want to find it, it's I'll pop the details below, but it's like #February challenge, and basically it's run by Creative Ceci from she's in America, and you can find her as at Creative Ceci on Instagram, or also Ceci Knits the World, I think is also one of her other groups that she had, like profiles that she has. And so every month it's just like 28 prompts, one for every day, or last year was 29. And you basically post a photo with a description if you want to. So I've been doing that, and that has been quite a bit of fun. And I have attempted many other years and basically fallen off the bandwagon. And so this year when I started, I just like, look, no pressure, and I did really well. I think I got to like 14 days in a row basically, where I managed to get all the prompts in, and I haven't really done anything for the last couple, so that's okay. I went in with no pressure expectation, and I've lived up to that, so that is good. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I'm sure when I'm editing this I will remember what I wanted to say before, but I really can't remember, so that's fine. I think I might not wear my glasses next time because there's a reflection in them, but I just sat down to do this from work straight away, so they're still in my face, and I forgot till it was too late. No cat, he was here, he's gone, but thank you for your really kind comments about the cat on the last episode. He's a bit of a sweetheart, except when he wakes me up at 4:30 in the morning like this, or he just like, it was really cute actually. I had an eye mask on because I'd woken up at like 3:30, and it does start to get daylight quite early, so I had a face mask in my bedside table, so I pulled it out and put it on, and I think that was when my parents were away and he wanted feeding. So he came up to me and just started to like move the mask like this. And I could just fit, and I woke up. Cat, what do you want? And then I looked at the time and went, okay, it's 4:30, it's time for breakfast apparently. So I got up and fed him. But yeah, it's been nice to have a family pet around, even though he shoots me. But yeah, it's been nice. I don't know if I'm as keen to get my own animal when I move into my place just yet, but we'll play that bit by ear. Anyway, I've just rambled for the last 5 minutes. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you in a couple of weeks and I'll be a fully fledged, probably a uni student by then. And yeah, it's been lovely. Thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.